I made $3,000 a month recording videos on my iPhone. No fancy camera, no fancy edits, just a phone and the right type of client. And today I want to tell you the story about how I got my first client and how I managed to charge up to $3,000 for just recording with my phone. 4 years ago, I started my business. At that time, I didn't have any knowledge about cameras. I didn't have any knowledge about video in general, but I had a phone. And at that time, I was looking into some different niches that I felt was overlooked. At this particular time, especially in Denmark, the real estate business was like 40 years old. There was nothing. People were trying to sell houses with just a picture of themselves on Meta. So I thought, why don't I offer some video to these people? That's what I did. And that's how I got my first client that was paying around $1,800. But what were they paying for? They were paying for me to come out once a month to record 2 videos with my iPhone and then put the ads live on Meta and then post some pictures of their newest apartments and villas on Instagram. Pretty simple. I didn't have any knowledge about anything, so for me it felt like a crazy deal because at that time I just quit my day job that were paying me around $4,000 each month. The most crazy thing is that I just needed 2 of these clients to have the same salary as my full-time job, and I could be my own boss. I went on to get more clients and more clients and more clients. The thing that still stayed the same was the fact that I was recording on my iPhone. The real estate clients didn't have anything to say about it. They weren't thinking about me just showing up with an iPhone. They were just happy with the results that they were getting. As time went on and I got more clients, I decided to upgrade my camera. I decided to buy a Sony a7S III. Pretty expensive camera when you also need a lens and you also need some audio and maybe you need a gimbal as well. Because of the file size and the complexity of like the video quality, you also need to upgrade your MacBook. So there was a lot of expenses related to the fact that I was upgrading my camera. And I was excited. I was looking forward to show the clients that the quality was going to be so much better now. But I was surprised. I was surprised that the clients actually didn't care. They didn't care about the fact that I got a new camera. Obviously, it looked nice. They just cared about the quality, the result, the human connection I had with them, the funny times we had just recording videos. And yeah, of course, the quality was better with my expensive camera. But in the end, the most important part was the results that the client was getting. I actually found myself charging the same price for a more expensive setup, a more complex setup, something that took way longer to make just because I wanted to and not because the client was expecting me to or wanted me to. A few years ago, it kind of clicked for me. I was thinking, can it really be true that I'm the one stopping my business from growing? If I'm using my camera, I have to adjust a lot of things. I have to make sure the white balance is all right and all these different things you have to do with an expensive camera. But with my phone, I was just showing up, pressing record and running around. It was actually a lot of the times even more fun to shoot with because I didn't have to think about all the settings. Or am I messing up all the white balance here? Am I messing up on the ISO? What am I doing right here? The iPhone was just so easy to work with. So the key thing I learned from this experience a few years ago was that the client often doesn't care about what camera gear you have, what specs you have, all the features and all these different things. All they really care about is the results. The things that they get in the end. Do they like how they are presented in the video? And if you can do that on an iPhone, that's good enough for most clients. Some clients do care, but you also have to ask yourself if that's the client you want. The real estate clients I had was plus 40 years old and up above, and these people didn't know much about cameras. They don't know much about cameras to this date. That's also why I still have the first client I ever had, the one that's paying $1,800, and they're still paying me $1,800 today. I've had them for almost 4 years. Today I have the most expensive gear you could ever have, maybe just to shoot some normal social media style of content. The funny thing is, a few months ago when we had a shoot, I actually used my phone because we were doing a tour of an apartment, and I didn't have my wide lens that goes all the way out to 12 millimeters. I only have my 24 to 70 Sigma lens, so I was forced to use my phone on 0.5. And the funny thing again was that it worked. The client was happy with the result and I didn't get any comment on it. So it just shows that you can do it right now. You can make your video business with just a phone in your hand. It just has to be the right client. I mean, you can find clients in every niche that are very different. You can find people that think that a $50 video is too much to pay, and then you can find somebody where you present a price that's $1,000 and they say, whoa, that's cheap. So it all depends on what type of client you want to work with. For me, I love working with these older clients that doesn't have that much knowledge about video because they're just happy. There's not so many questions. They trust you and they just really expect you to know what's best for them. And that's a good feeling when you're a videographer and you want to make something nice. And obviously you can make something that's a bit more high end, but then you can make an upsell to the client, because when you take the quality even higher, maybe you make some motion graphics or anything like that. And yeah, of course, I just told you that you only need an iPhone. And that's true. I actually got one of the highest paying clients from just using my phone. They were paying $3,000 a month. The same as the first client I got, but just later in my business when I raised my prices, I was still using my phone at that time and they were paying me $3,000. Today, I charge some clients more, but that's also a totally different niche. It's just to tell you that if you really want to get into video, you only have a phone, get out there, find the right type of clients, find the 40+ clients that doesn't know anything about video, and then sell them some video. You only need around 5 retainer clients paying you $2,000 a month, and then you have a solid income of $10,000 a month from using your phone. If that's not simple, I don't know what is. This video is just to tell you that don't make it more complicated than it has to be. Of course, you can use an expensive camera and shoot some expensive video, but make sure you do it for the right client who wants to pay. Go out there and use whatever you have. It may just be enough to get you the first client paying you $2,000. I actually built my own video business with just a phone up to over $10,000 a month. So you can do it as well. If you want more videos about how you can run your own video business, then subscribe to my channel. Shoot me a message in the comments if you want me to do something specific. You have anything in mind, just let me know and I'll have a look at it.